season opens on Thursday nights, and I'm anticipating this. You know, us coming off a finals run and you know, a surprise finals run. As good as we were towards the end of the season, we actually put it all together. And you know, once we ended up getting the Minnesota matchup, and you heard Anthony Edwards run his mouth a little bit, we kind of were like, okay, we're going straight to the finals. Who are we playing? And you know, we ran to the Celtics. They were a buzzsaw, and they kind of did to us what they did to everybody else. But we had a fantastic offseason. We were able to make a few additions, and the biggest addition, Mr. Klay Thompson, future Hall of Famer, one of the greatest shooters of all time, one half of the Splash Brothers here in Dallas. So, Kyle, what are your expectations for Klay Thompson this season?
I mean, expectations, just do what he does. I mean, stay healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
But that's not what he does.
Yeah, that's true. Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah. Turn the injuries off.
Yeah. If
he
he's a 38% shooter.
Our three-point shooter from last year. And that was his career low.
Yeah. Everybody's hoping that, you know, all those open looks that the Mavs players tend to get because of Luka, he's going to fill that role. Like, hopefully that's what he does. Potentially we're looking at Luka's triple-double average going up. I mean, isn't that what it's all about? It's like, if you're a Mavs fan, it's what Luka's doing. It's incredible how the GM has built this team.
Yeah, Nico, such a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
And there was a lot expected of him, and there was a lot of pressure, and he was able to do it because I was there. Fire Jason Kidd. As far as Tim Hardaway Jr. not being here, I think just the addition by subtraction of him is just a big plus, and then being able to make that plus a Klay Thompson. Because to me, I expect from him to be a 40% three-point shooter, because I expect that Luka and Kyrie are the prominent ball handlers on this team, and they're going to be finding him. And I expect him to be taking a lot more corner threes than traditionally where he just shoots from wherever he shoots from. And I just think that with the corner three being the shortest three out there, I think he's a career 45% corner three shooter. I expect him to be right there this season, because everybody, you know, the defense is going to be covering Luka. They're going to be watching Luka, and when they're not watching Luka, they're going to be watching Kyrie. So he's never been this open in his life. Well, probably when he had Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, but this is going to be the closest he's been to having that type of supporting cast around him as far as shooters that the defense has to worry about.
Man, I wonder if there's fans out there that have more expectations for Klay than they did when Kyrie came. Cause I remember how I felt when Kyrie came in. I didn't think this was like the best get we could get.
Yeah.
When Klay was announced, I was like, this is one of the best offseason moves the Mavs have gotten. And we've taken some big splashes that totally didn't work, you know. And
well, you know me, from day one, I loved the Kyrie trade.
But you know how the reputation that he had. That was the thing that everybody couldn't swallow.
But to me, I separate the art from the artist when it comes to that.
Well, that's the thing. When the general fan is like, what is the expectation for this season? I remember Kyrie was like, well, we just hope that it works out in the locker room.
Yeah.
Whatever he does on the court, we think he'll do well, but just don't blow this whole thing up. Don't become a cancer. Don't start all these off the court issues. When Klay gets signed, there is no doubt that he'll be working well with the team. It's the health thing, and that's really, I mean, most people I think would agree. The smartest NBA people out there are probably saying, let's be worried about the health.
Yeah,
that's first and foremost.
Yeah, the health is going to be the number one thing. Can the Mavericks be an elite defense for an entire season this year?
The trade last year changed quite a bit the landscape of that team. It really did. Like, you saw the effort, and I think Kyrie was one of those guys that you saw effort more in the playoffs because it was a team defense.
You know, the Gafford-Washington trade.
Yeah, the big trade changed a lot.
You know, that
win
changed
record, everything.
Because it seemed like after the trade happened, like Luka's steals went up, Kyrie's steals went up, and I think it's almost like Jason Kidd came to them. It's like, look, I got all these defensive weapons out here now. No excuses. Everybody's playing hard defense now. Well, the big thing about the defense moving forward is just we haven't really found that Dereck Jones Jr. replacement as far as that elite defender who can defend anybody from a power forward to a point guard. It's like, you know, and I think that it's going to be kind of a committee thing, because I know at the beginning of the season we're not going to have Dante Exum, and it just kind of seems like that's kind of his MO. He's just going to be in and out of the lineup because
the spark
he's always had.
Yeah, that's what he does.
But he's going to miss, I want to say, at least a month of the season. And I know that he's a bigger guard who's really good defensively, that we could actually use his help. So without him being healthy at the beginning of the season, I'm interested to see who takes on that role, whether it's going to be a Quentin Grimes that we just acquired this offseason.
I think he has the biggest potential to be that.
Yeah, it would either be Quentin Grimes, but to me, I kind of look at him as more of a Josh Green replacement. And it doesn't really, so that's why I'm saying I don't really feel like we've actually addressed the Derrick Jones situation quite yet. And let's just remember, Derrick Jones Jr. was a league minimum contract guy that we signed at the end, like right before camp started. So we're, and now he's getting paid what, like $12 million a year? Like, we couldn't afford that. But there's other guys out there that I'm pretty sure that we'll probably be able to kick the tires on throughout the season. Not necessarily a big name, but there are these guys who are former dunk champs and whatever.
Yeah, I was about to say, his defensive style, Jones Jr.'s defensive style, isn't uncommon.
Yes. It's just most guys who play defense like that have no jumpers.
That might be that's a great way of putting it. Yeah, we're not going to be able to replicate what he does, but it's fine. I mean, we saw it last year on how this team can change the way they play depending on their opponent anytime they want. So I'm not really concerned with their scheme.
Yeah.
They're going to take that personnel and utilize it the best way they need to, week in, week out. Can they hold up all year?
Yeah,
that'll be the question.
Got a couple of good young players, and we're all hoping to take a big leap this season. So I think that everybody's going to nominate the same two guys. So let's just ask the question: who do you expect to have a bigger breakout season this year between Dereck Lively or Jaden Hardy?
I love Lively. I don't see anybody holding Dereck Lively back. I'm ready for this guy.
The one thing that'll hold Dereck Lively back is the fact that they platoon him and Gafford. So where it's like it's going to be because our defense took off when it became, okay, there will never be a moment where one of these guys is not on the floor.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much a 24-minute thing. So I just think that if we start to see him playing more power forward and see them play together sometimes, then I could see that. But I just don't see him doing that in year two. I'm going to go with Hardy. Just because I think with Derrick Jones Jr. being gone, there's going to be actually just more minutes for him to actually play. And the way that he got the playing time during the finals over Dante Exum, I just think that trajectory is going to continue. And the way that he's played during the preseason, honestly, with Luka not playing at all in the preseason and with Kyrie being limited, it seemed like he was the best offensive player we had on the floor. And I think that with him, as well as he's played and I'm hoping that Spencer Dinwiddie isn't just done because he looked terrible this preseason. Yeah. But I'm just hoping. But he looks like he'll be the third ball handler, not Spencer Dinwiddie, based off the fact that Jason Kidd trusts him and he's an ascending player versus Spencer Dinwiddie, who kind of seems like he's descending.
So you think Jason Kidd's ready to trust Hardy?
Because this is the third ball handler. This has been the third ball handler. That means he's on the court only when Kyrie and Luka are not.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very debated argument about Jason Kidd's coaching. I mean, a lot of people complain about his calling timeouts, but like using the roster properly and using one of the guys that's young, has energy, can come in. I don't know what he averages off the bench, but I would imagine we were going to see his uptick in number of minutes. But I still think they're gonna hold him back somehow, some way. Can he run a system?
And my biggest issue, my biggest knock is, can you really play point guard though?
Yeah.
Can you be a distributor? Can you be a facilitator?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest question. And I think that the only thing that he's answered is, I'd rather have him doing it right now than Spencer Dinwiddie if Dinwiddie's gonna play like that.
Yeah, with that contract, that's what the intent should be, right? Yeah. He has a Hall of Fame guard and a coach, and that guy wants to basically emulate him, right? Yeah. Like he wants him to be that level, and he seems like he always gets held back. I mean, most of the season last year.
That's growing pains, and he was on the finals roster and he got some important minutes. And I just think that, with Dante Exum being out, we're going to have to rely on him, and I just think that his trust level is going to be higher with the Jaden Hardy, since he's been with him for the last 2 years, than a Quentin Grimes, at least early on in the season. Unless Quentin Grimes comes out and shows us that he's a lockdown defender, which he's shown that he's a good defender.
He's pretty good.
But we'll see. We'll see.
I think Jason Kidd is still going to kind of hold him back in some way. And I believe Hardy got a pretty good contract.
Yeah, he just got extended.
If Jaden Hardy can figure out his pace of play and do what Luka does with the lob, man, That'll be impressive.
Now, one guy that I hope he's a breakout player, because any type of, if I could get 5 points a game out of Omax, that's a breakout for me. But just because I was big on Omax, and I just think that it's one of those situations like, we can't wait for you to develop. You can't develop on the job over here. We out here trying to win every game. We try to get the number 1 seed. We're playing for championships.
He was drafted for his defense.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
But I hope that the depth has made it to where you can send him down to the Texas Legends to play in a long stretch, to let him actually develop and build that confidence and get those shots. So, but we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
MVP for the year. What are we talking?
So pretty much it's the usual suspects. We have Luka Doncic. We have SGA, who's entered the realm after last season, and Jokic. And I guess we can automatically just put Embiid out because he's not going to play enough games to qualify. He won't.
He said it himself.
Oh, he already said it?
Yeah.
See, I'm not talking bad about him.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, it's like I'm just speaking facts, speaking truth.
I think it's pretty much the exact same lineup as last year. I would go with Jokic, probably favored.
Yeah.
I didn't really see SGA being the full on MVP. We knew his game was there.
I thought against us in the playoffs, he showed everybody.
Yeah, he really did show off
on the court, but we had the better team.
Yeah,
because it was kind of just him, and he had no Robin. You know what I'm saying? All Batman, no Robin, and they'll be scary because Chet Holmgren's probably going to take another step.
Yeah,
and
didn't they draft one of your guys?
They have Cason Wallace coming back for his second year, who we drafted, the local kid, traded for Dereck Lively. And I think both teams are happy and better for it.
I think they've retooled enough where he'll be a season-long favorite.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what happens when the triple-double averages become normalized. Like the things... You know what I mean? Like some of these
it's like where every year there's going to be a guy who averages a triple-double.
Like take all those ESPN NBA writers and guys that just got let go. Like a lot of those guys, they seem to not be very impressed by the triple-double. There needs to be a demarcation. Baseball has the modern era statistics. Yeah. NFL has since the merger statistics.
Well, as far as Luka being able to unseat Jokic for MVP, I really think it's going to just be dependent on it's health and availability on all these guys, whether it's SGA, him, Jokic. So looking at that, it seems like I trust in Jokic and SGA to play the most games out of the MVP candidates. I'm not putting Anthony Edwards in that realm. These guys are in a different tier than that guy. No disrespect. It's like, you'll get there, young bull. You'll get there. But I just think that. But I think the one thing that might hurt Jokic is if it's a statistical tie as far as all these categories and season lead for triple doubles. There's Jokic fatigue, man. It's real, and I think that if any team can jump them for the 1 seed, then they'll just give that guy the MVP, whether it's SGA, whether it's Luka, or if it happens to be Anthony Edwards.
Or Wemby.
I don't think the team will be good enough for him to be in consideration. I don't think that he's a great player. He's a unicorn, but he ain't so good to where they're going to go from that to the number 1 seed. Yeah. And if they do...
Then he definitely is the MVP.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, let's go ahead and talk about this team versus last year's team. Do you think that this current Mavs team, as constructed, is better than last year's finals team?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, that's the point of signing Klay Thompson. I think
that's the anti-Jerry Jones way to build a team, right?
Yeah.
I think Nico Harrison should be the Cowboys GM too.
I would totally be okay with it.
Dude, not a bad idea. I mean,
he's got
the NFL and Nike do need to sort of up their game a little bit.
Just as a consultant.
I think for me, I viewed the Mavs being stronger than what most people thought they were last year. I wasn't super shocked about them going as deep as they did. I thought they were going to run into Denver. Denver getting knocked out of the playoffs is the thing that sort of took me off guard. The way the Nuggets fell apart was an anomaly, I feel. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. But I think, are they better? Yes. Are we going to get the same amount of wins? I think Vegas has us up on that total this year. Can we get down, deep in the playoffs? We should, but I think let's remember the rest of the Western Conference is retooled trying to beat us now.
Yeah.
So that's one thing to look for.
All right, yeah. With me, of course, we're better because Klay Thompson is better than Tim Hardaway Jr. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
the entire time we've done this show, I think the first time I touched the mic, I'm like, get Tim Hardaway Jr. out of here.
Jordan's
like,
THJ displeasure.
It's not hate. I don't.
No,
hate
that's why I called it displeasure, not
just
hate.
go play somewhere else. That's all.
Yeah, that's all.
It's like I don't dislike the man. I just don't want him on the team.
I don't want him here.
Just take that jersey off, pack up your shit.
Get the fuck out.
But I love you. You're great though.
Well, yeah, that's THJ, man. I just wish you had your daddy's crossover. It's like, but replacing THJ with Klay, of course, we're better. The only thing that I'm kind of weary about is still the Dereck Jones Jr. replacement and how will that come in? How will it play out? And maybe we have that guy on our roster right now.
We're gonna do the level of confidence, Jordan style.
All right, so Mavericks confidence level heading into the season: 5 NBA champions, 4 Western Conference champions, 3 second round exit, 2 first round exit, 1 no playoffs. Kyle, let's go.
I think realistically, Western Conference Finals again. Championship. I don't see any weakness out of Boston. I'm seriously I think I'm going to start the same exact way I did last year, thinking Boston's got the East Coast wrapped up, and everybody should be worried. But people are gunning for the Mavs on the Western Conference now, so it's going to be a tough road. I mean, if Denver gets their game back, if we run into them in the second round like I thought they were going to do last year, that's going to worry me all over again. I think bring anybody on. Sacramento could be potentially an early
Sacramento is one of those guys, and nobody knows how Golden State's going to look.
Now I'm going to give it a solid 4 Western Conference Finals appearance for sure. Depending on who we're facing, I guess as long as it's not Denver, I feel like we can win that.
Okay. All right, Patrick, party boy, where are you at?
4 for sure.
4 for sure.
Yeah, unless the caveat there is Oklahoma City being better, being
all the young
very
players
better.
Yes, because all those their thing is all they need is time.
That's what I'm saying.
And they added Alex Caruso and replaced Josh Giddey with Alex Caruso. I thought that was a really big move, just because you wanted Giddey to turn into Caruso, so you just went and turned a trade and got the
guy you wanted.
Let's not wait for him to turn this guy. Let's just go get that guy.
I'm not scared of them.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, it may not be this year. I'm scared of them at some point in the future, and it may not be this year.
Well, I'm scared of them because with us not having Dereck Jones Jr., that means that Luka is going to have to guard SGA, and I think that could be a problem for us. That could be a problem. And I just feel like Cason Wallace, he's going to take a step. I think Chet Homer is going to take a step. I think Alex Caruso is a big-time addition to that team. And, I'm a little concerned. Now, I'm confident we could beat them in a 7-game series, say playoff time. But I could see if we play like we did the second half of last year, then we might be the best team. We might have the best record in the league.
That should be the expectation, right? I mean, I think that's probably what the team.
Because that's what we have to go off of. Because that team that finished the last 20 games of the regular season went all the way to the finals.
You're going to hear
why
it.
Shouldn't you expect that to be the same team that you see at the beginning of the season?
You're going to hear it every time we turn on the TV or their national broadcast. They're all going to say the surprising Dallas Mavericks, the finalists, and I'm like, I wasn't that surprised, guys. We shouldn't be being like, hey, this was just a one-time thing. Yeah. Right?
Oh, the OKC kid, Nikola Topic. Yeah, but he's pretty much going to redshirt this year because of the injury.
For the ACL guy.
He's the Serbian ACL.
ACL, that's what.
Shout out to Serbia because I don't want Jokic's brothers coming out.